It's Misstiq, the amazing producer from sunny Australia. Good morning.
Woo! Good morning.
And it's good evening here. You are my first ever Australian guest. So I guess that's a fun title for you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be, on board with all this. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Cool. Stop it. Hang up. You hang up. No, stop. So I wanted to basically kind of break the ice because over the time that I've been doing this program, the guests that have come on the show, I've kind of known them kind of personally. And I suppose you're one of the few that I haven't got to know first. So this makes it all the more exciting for me and for everyone listening to get involved and to, learn more about you. So my first question to you is Fosters or boomerangs?
I'd say Foster's.
Really? Okay, cool. It's like a quick fire round that has nothing to do with your music whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm like, what's that
album? Kangaroos or hats with the corks on the string?
Kangaroos, because they're cute.
Great shout. And they can punch you. And finally, Sydney or Melbourne?
Melbourne. It's pronounced Melbourne, by the
Melbourne.
way.
Oh no, I've fallen at the first Australian hurdle. No, this is ended. No, I'm joking. You're very, very influential, Misstiq. And I suppose to those who don't know you or what you do, you essentially make people's tracks sound a bit more sexy by adding strings and tubular bells and choirs and making everything much more epic. What got you into doing this?
Well, I think when I was like growing up, and that was like during kind of my teenagehood when I got to know what I liked and what I didn't like in music, or what movies I liked, what movies I didn't like, based on the people that I used to hang around with at school. I kind of continued. I really enjoyed playing piano, and I really enjoyed kind of vibing with people that really liked very cinematic movies and really heavy music as well, and that all kind of just came together. And that's what you see now. I kind of just, put my interests together and boom, here we go. We've got Misstiq.
You're like, you're sort of like a one-person version of like Cradle of Filth and Sonata Arctica, like all put into one person. Do you have any bands that are extremely influential to you? And if so, who and why?
Oh, I would say this is going to sound like kind of cliche because this is like a band from way back, but I used to listen to them a lot, but Avenged Sevenfold. They inspired me so much.
Yeah.
I do not talk about them. I don't know why. They're kind of like this like very precious band in my head. Like I just kind of thinking to myself. But yeah, like I don't know, you've got all these other really, really cool bands these days that do incorporate choir and strings and stuff. And but yeah, I do love how they keep doing what they're doing, because they're making that style of music a lot more popular. And and I like that myself and all these other bands these days are bringing it to light. But yeah, Avenged Sevenfold back in the day, I used to just listen to them religiously, but it wasn't just like listening and just just hanging out or whatever. It was just like I would just stop everything I'm doing and just analyze every single song. So this was me when I was 15. I remember going to because I've got family in Poland. I used to just listen to them all the time on my MP3 player. And we would just be like driving through the fields in Poland, and then I used to just listen to Avenged Sevenfold, especially like I Won't See You Tonight. I think it's part 2 or whatever it was. And I was just constantly just analyzing this music. And I did stop one time. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, is this normal? Am I weird? Like, like what is my life? And like plot twist. Actually, not really plot twist, but yeah.
No, I was going to say the plot stayed the same.
Just kind of kept following that interest. And then once I studied music composition at uni, then I was kind of so sorry, we'll finish in 2 minutes. Nothing. Then once I studied music composition at uni, I got to know how to record music, all that kind of stuff, and it all just came together.
So what was it about the grandness and the opulence of strings and choirs and all that kind of orchestral background that made you think, well, hang on, what bands are missing is that sound, and I could be the person to add all of that to their tracks. And what do people do when they get in contact with you to like, they just ask you to do that? They're like, hey, can you make my song sound like I'm doing it with an orchestra, please?
Yeah, they do that. And everyone's different. You know, I'd have one band saying like, oh, hey, we've got a song where we've already written like really cool synths to it. We've written really basic choirs. Would you just, you know, kind of vamp it up and do your own touch to it? Feel free to change stuff around. That's awesome. You know, like I love that kind of stuff. Okay. So I get people like that. And then I've got people, recently I've been doing more of this next kind of stuff. It's more orchestral based, like huge orchestral intro, like Hollywood style. Wow. That's what I love doing a lot. And, you know, I might have weeks where I constantly just do very minimal on everyone's songs, and it's fun because I'm still excited being a part of the process. But as a musician and someone who just loves creating something completely different, I do like the orchestral approach. And yeah, and then other weeks I've got, I don't know, rappers from New York being like, oh, hey, can you like can you do me a beat, man? Yeah, that's what they sound like. But
that was probably the worst American accent like I've ever had.
Thanks so much. I've got more on the way. But yeah, I've got like so much like crap happening all the time, and it's so stressful, but I signed up for this life, so I'll just take it, you know.
I was gonna say your Instagram stories, they're like they're so manic. They're like, yeah, I've got 15,000 emails. I will get back to you, I promise. But oh
my god, yeah. I can't like hold on to that. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, do I email all these people that I'm working with, or do I just do like a subtle huge rant on Instagram? Yeah, I'll do that one, I'll do that.
The thing is though, right? Are you worried that, you know, I know that you do that in jest because we've spoken a lot and we've got to know each other and stuff, but when you do that, do you worry that you might alienate people that are reaching out to you and think, well, actually, you know what, if she's going to complain about the inbox being full, then we're not going to reach out to her?
No, because I add little kiss signs at the end.
That's very true. You do.
Okay.
You do. Keep everything very calm.
If you want to be a little bit more chill with a rant, you have to extend the last letter of the last word of the sentence, and then it's all okay. So if I say thanks for your patience, then the E, I do like 7 E's.
But then that you might have just tripped on your keyboard and just like fallen over.
Who knows?
That's I mean, one of the things I kind of really wanted to talk to you about was the importance of the internet, because I ask every guest that I speak to about the importance of the internet. You know, is it a 21st century way of the music industry slitting its own throat, or, you know, is it helping aspiring artists get their music out there? For you, I think, Misstiq, it's easy to recognize that you are a brand, and your brand is very much kind of focused on not only the sound and the brilliance of what you're delivering, but also, you know, the image and your surroundings and stuff. And I guess you have to take all of that into consideration before you do an Instagram video and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how does that make you feel that it should be about the music?
Yeah, so many times I'm thinking like, dude, I wish I could actually think about the music more than I do on how my video looks. You know, it's not about how I look, you know, it's about what can my video look like in a way that makes people stop scrolling. Because then the more people that watch the first few seconds, the more your video is going to be pushed through the algorithms, the more people are going to watch it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's not about only the music as much as you kind of want it to be, you know, unless I had a whole team of people working for me, which I don't feel comfortable at the moment because I like to do everything myself. I don't trust many people. I'm just very picky with that, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so I, you know, maybe one day it will be all about, you know, the music for me, where I'm just writing this huge orchestral piece for, I don't know, architects or someone, but yeah, at the moment it's just, you know, how can this video be put together in a way that would make people stop scrolling? That's the first question I always ask myself, you know.
And do you think that, Misstiq, for aspiring artists, you know, in whatever field of music they're pursuing, whether it's rock, classical, jazz, pop, folk, do you think that same rule should apply to them as well? If they're making a great rock video, you know, that should be the thing that should stop the person scrolling?
Yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't matter on the style of music that you're doing. It's just like, pretend that you got to test your videos out without sound first, and then pretend that you don't know yourself and ask yourself, would I stop scrolling if I came across this? So you incorporate a little bit of text, or like, for example, podcasts, they do a lot of big podcasts do, like, subtitles and videos, like screen recordings and all that kind of stuff, and that makes people want to listen to those more. If you've got something cool that the band did in a video clip, you might have them make like a TikTok or an Instagram reel where they straight away get into that really cool thing. It might be like some fight scene, like Slaughter to Prevail did with the bear. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't.
They used I think it was an actual bear. I don't even know.
Oh wow.
But it was just this thing that they just posted, and then it's like, boom, let's get into the crazy part of our video clip and put on social media, rather than just constantly like posting the same video clip over and over again. So you just have to be very clever with how you post your content. Don't make it too repetitive either. Make it fun.
It's like there's a rule with social media, right? You've kind of got to post like 2 or 3 times, but now your social media has become so busy. You get like 4, 5, 6, 7,000 views on your videos. I guess that's such a driver for you to continue to produce the absolute best, because the minute your stuff isn't as good as the last video or the last sound, then people are going to start to shop elsewhere potentially. So the pressure's on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of pressure that I do sometimes put on myself. And it's kind of like it's like a bittersweet kind of thing. If I get a lot of views on one video, then as I'm working for the next video, which is like a little bit different, because I like to change it up, I'm always thinking like, oh crap, like I'm not going to get this many views for this next video because it's different, or it can get quite stressful. Like, for example, I think it's 13 million views now on a pimped up impending doom song. Pimped up being the type of video that I do where I add my own like to an existing song. That's on Facebook. Facebook's great because it can be like reshared a lot and all that kind of stuff. But I've got like 13 million views on that, and that was posted maybe like this time last year. I remember going to a Christmas dinner and then just being like, what the hell, I've got like 1 million views in one day. And then 7 days later it's like 4 or 5 million. I'm like, dude, what the hell's happening? And then I don't want to be that person that always does the same video. So yes, I was like, what do I do? And me being like also a bit lazy, it didn't take me, a day or 2 to do the next video, but it can. I just thought, I'm going to give it like 4 or 5 weeks until I do the next pimped up video to really space it out. Because then the moment I do, if I do too much of the same video and that does super well, I'm going to have, this huge hesitancy to do everything else that I want to do. So everything else being like, I want to try this song out, or I want to try, I don't know, I just want to try all these different kind of ideas out, just because I want to, just as a human being, but also that inspires a lot of other people as well. But yeah, it's weird getting like so many views and then being like, do I do that forever?
So for you then, you're like, I know that in yourself you're like this kind of one woman band, but also you're an influencer, and that's in essence kind of, I suppose. such a dick. But no, but you're an influencer because what you're doing is, you're building yourself a fan base. That fan base is then being shared to bands that would want your services, and now you've even started to release your own merchandise just through producing music, which I'm waiting for you to send me one. But
I'll airdrop you.
Thanks. I'll wait. I'll wait. But for again, I'm assuming the answer is just to continue to build your brand. But most producers, they have their studio, they sit in their studio, they might do a few videos here and there just to kind of show off the studio space. You're like, you're so on it with social media, and now you've even got your own clothing brand out, which is an enormous feat, really. So congratulations on that. Again, stop here. Again, what was the thought process behind kind of doing that?
Well, I have had merch for a while, but it's not something that I used to always like posts about.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do this huge rebrand or strengthening my brand kind of thing. Now that I do Misstiq full time since officially June, because I used to teach and I'm still a part of like the teaching agency that I'm with.
What did you teach?
Worked since June. I taught a completely different topic, but I'm a substitute teacher.
Oh, are you?
Oh my
So
God, we
cool.
need a whole new podcast for this.
That's so cool.
So basically, my whole life, it's just like music, and then music composition at uni, little break. What do I do with my life? Oh, let's maybe teach piano at like private schools or something.
Okay.
Because at the time, I used to also teach piano at the school where I used to learn. Right.
Okay.
And I quit that at the start of the year, which is 9 years already, with that after school piano teaching job. And then I was like, oh, let's just, go to uni. Let's study to become a teacher at like at private schools. So I could, during the day, teach piano there. And then after school hours, I could do, keep teaching piano at the piano school that I used to teach at.
Cool.
And then, that was just such a huge part of my life. And then I, had Misstiq happening as well at the same time. And then at this, now, in this point of time is like a huge transition for me the past few months, because that's when, because of COVID, I didn't get that many shifts as a substitute teacher.
Yes.
Because the original teachers of the kids, they were on Zoom and everything. So they didn't need me. So then up until June, I taught, and that was like once or twice a week.
Right.
I used to do super full time every year up to like the end of last year. But that just means that I had to, go all in on Misstiq, and it's definitely worth it. So I was like, all right, what do I do? How do I make money from it? But while also just being like a genuine person, being influential in a positive way.
Yes.
All right, let's do merch. Let's get more clients. How do I get more clients? Oh, by showing people what I can do online in like a really fun way. And also just sort of saying, oh, hey, I worked with this person, or I did this Twitch song for this person, or whatever. And then people are like, oh, hey, I want to have that done too. So I just went through this huge brainstorm. After like teaching at schools every day, my brain was just so used to kind of being like, okay, the day's scheduled in 5-6 periods. If I can get through a school day and then teach piano till 8 p.m., I can do this. I can do Misstiq at home.
I think
it's crazy.
You've absolutely smashed it. I mean, even in the short time that we've spoken and and stuff. Your followers, that they've gone up, and your work has like quadrupled. So from an outsider's point of view, you seem to be doing really well. You're like a female and more metal version of Vangelis, which I think is which is a fun thing to say.
Whatever that means.
But what? Oh my God! Do you not know Vangelis?
No.
Right. Straight after this, I am sending you.
After this.
I'm gonna.
Okay, no worries.
I'm gonna send you a Vangelis song. He's a composer for films, but everything is very big and epic. And if you said you liked film scores and stuff, so I'm gonna send you a song, and like your homework for this day or the end of my day, beginning of yours. I can't work out what time it is where you are.
No
you've totally got to listen to it. What do you think for you is going to be the next step? We've seen you cross 100,000 followers on Instagram. We've seen you get all the thousands and millions of views on Instagram. And whilst answering that question, have you thought about maybe taking what you do to the live stage?
Yeah, so I do have a lot planned next year. I don't want to say too much at the moment because...
No, say it all.
So I've got, a lot of live stuff happening. That's in the works.
Cool.
And I'm also, going to be releasing a web store where I'll be, finally selling, beat packs, sample packs, all that stuff. I was going to do it a couple months ago, but I was just at this point of my life where I just had too much on, and I want to just release that in the new year, because a lot of people, they happen to do new hobbies and stuff, or just they want to, fresh themselves up with, you know, new sounds, new plugins, all that kind of stuff. So I just want to be that person who, you know, says, finally guys, here's a whole bunch of sounds that I use and you can use it too. We can either work together, or you can just simply download this for like literally a few dollars and just do it yourself. You know? So that kind of stuff. And you know, from a business perspective, that's a really smart move as well, because I just have to work really hard first, and then that creates me passive income once it's out. But I still want to work with a lot of clients. I don't want to completely shut myself off from like emailing people all the time, you know, being a part of projects. I do love the excitement. So I'll continue doing that. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with companies. That's another huge thing that I'll be doing. So yeah, I'm just being very strategic with who I work with. Like, I don't want to be sent clothing, because I've seen a lot of people from bands or especially females, that they get sent clothes and then or jewelry, and they're like, oh my God, I'm an influencer, like blah, blah, you know, even though they're in this band or they're in this whatever. And their audience's perspective of them just completely shifts. Like,
yes, yeah.
Promoting, like, you know,
they've got to be kind of respectful of their own brand, right?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to work with people who, you know, like stuff that I would actually, you know, want to buy or would be good for playing live shows with, or, you know, doing content with, all that kind of stuff.
I think your outlook is very, very business savvy. And I think you have got a really, really good plan, especially the beat pack thing. That's amazing, but also continuing to work with aspiring artists, you know, and emerging talent, because what you're doing is you're helping bring them up the ranks as well, because you've got such a big following. You're working with bands that might not have such a big following, and together you're creating something that sounds awesome, and that for both parties is ultimately the goal, right? To make something fucking awesome. My final question for you is, you know, we've spoke about social media a lot. Where can people find you? Not your address or phone number. I mean, just, you know, a nice way of finding. I
forgot to put my VPN on. So I've got, my happy place is not Facebook. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, here on Instagram too anyway. Instagram, Facebook. They're my two like must post on. I've got a huge following on Instagram now that I've like reached 100K, but I've got an even bigger following on Facebook. So that's where I can like really spread news about stuff, have a chat with people. I've also got TikTok, which I'm building up, and YouTube. Nice. I do already have stuff on there, but next year on YouTube, I want to be more, without sounding too cringy, I want to be like more of a YouTuber where I do.
No, that did sound cringy. No, I'm joking.
You know, where I do like screen recordings of my recording session, and then I'm like in a little box in the corner just having a chat about what I'm doing, because like so many times I just talk to myself when I do people's like client jobs, you know. I could just hit record and just whatever, I just put up a video the next day after doing some client jobs, and that way people can just learn what I do and my tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. Amazing. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
Definitely.
Like Spotify. Oh, and I've got new music coming out as well next year. Like, for
and just drop that in as we're wrapping things up. Oh, by the way, I've got like 9 albums coming out next year.
Yeah, I think it's time that I do my own stuff, because I'm just too picky with I'm like, what sound do I do? And I don't record metal, so I'm not going to do metal because I want to do something completely myself. I already know what I want to do, but it's really vibey. So yeah, hope you like it.
I am super excited to see what the next 6 months has got in store for you. And thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.